Hello and welcome to LCTV News. I'm your host, Medina Sehi. In this edition of LCTV News, a major police bust, a Lynn legend passed away, the closing of a beloved restaurant, and more. Inaida Robles Vasquez and Raymond Matos of Lynn were arrested and charged with 3 counts of trafficking Class A and B substances on April 17th. The arrest came after the Lynn Police Drug Task Force executive 2 search warrants. Detectives seized about 272 grams of heroin, 252 grams of cocaine, 16 grams of fentanyl, and $27,681 in cash. Lieutenant Michael Kimmick reports that the individuals were arrested together in the same apartment. Lynn police are searching for a man who is wanted for an armed robbery of the Cumberland Farms on Chestnut Street. The robbery happened on April 10th. Lynn police say the suspect threatened the clerk with a hypodermic needle and syringe filled with what appeared to be blood. If you have any information on this robbery, then please contact the Lynn police. The Maveros family has welcomed you for the last 40 years at the Haywards Restaurant. However, their last day was yesterday, April 29th. Tasso Maveros was the owner that took over in 2004, and his motto was good food and good customer service. He said, "I could have gone cheaper, but I never did," in regarding to the food that they served. They made sure customers were number one and wanted to bring a family-like atmosphere. Maveros said, "We kept it family style." Maveros was diagnosed with cancer and is now cancer-free, but he wants to focus on his health, which is why the business ended. Haywards Restaurant will be deeply missed by the city of Lynn. Peter Pedro, also known as Pistol P, passed away on April 22nd at his home. Pedro, who was a star football player at Lynn Tech in the mid to late 50s and considered one of the greatest athletes to come out of Lynn. After graduating from Lynn Tech in 1959, he would go on to play football at Trinidad Junior College and would then transfer to West Texas State, which is now West Texas A&M University. There he became an All-American second leader rusher in the nation. Pedro spent 2 years with the New England Patriots when they were known as the Boston Patriots before ending his playing career. Pedro leaves behind his wife Gloria, son Peter Jr., and 3 daughters, Mimi Pedro, Kristen Cheever, and Helen Brown. The city of Lynn has joined other communities in a public nuisance lawsuit that holds prescription manufacturers and wholesale distributors accountable for the opioid epidemic. In a memo, Mayor McGee said that drug companies and wholesale distributors have made billions of dollars pushing the use of prescription opioids, and they need to be held accountable for their role in the opioid epidemic. Opioid abuse is the leading cause of death for those under 50. In 2017, approximately 1,977 people lost their lives due to opioid overdoses, according to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. Under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, pharmaceutical drug manufacturers and wholesale distributors are supposed to monitor, identify, and report any suspicious activity in the size and frequency of opioid shipments to pharmacies and hospitals. The communities involved in the lawsuit will be working with an association of law firms to hold pharmaceutical drug manufacturers and wholesale distributors responsible for failing to follow the Federal Controlled Substance Act. The Lynn Community Path cleanup took place this weekend, and Lynn Community Television was on the scene. The community path cleanup brought many residents. Clay Larson, who helped organize the cleanup, appreciates the community involvement.
Yeah, we're really excited. We got a bunch of people out here cleaning the trail up. We're down on Spencer Street near Western Ave.
This has been a long-time project, according to Lisa Wallace.
Well, this is a project that's been 20 years in the making.
Yep.
Through Bike to the Sea that started in Saugus.
Wallace hopes when the cleanup is complete, residents will be stress-free.
We're really trying to pull all the resources that we have in the city, put them along the pathway so that we'll have a stress-free way for neighborhoods that were normally kind of isolated, sectioned off, and very diverse, so that it's accommodating for everybody.
The next cleanup will take place on May 12th. This week's spotlight focused on Khiry Todd, a Lynn native who's carving his way to become the next big ticket in boxing. Todd puts his undefeated record on the line this Saturday in Foxwoods against Adrian Sosa of Lawrence. Todd and his trainer Joe Ricciardi spoke with LCTV.
We just getting ready. We're 2 weeks out from the fight. You can tell the energy is a little different this time. You know, keeping everything tight, making sure that I pinpoint everything. You know what I mean? Keep my hands up, keep my head moving, keep my feet moving, stuff like that.
his mechanics. We had to, fix the fundamentals, teach him to punch with his body more.
I feel I'm versatile. I can box if I got a box. I can bang if I got a bang. I got good balance. I got good head movement, stuff like that. So.
Just to be himself, naturally work on things for the other guy. The other kid's a good fighter. He's got talent, but I just think Khiry's a better rounded fighter.
I feel like I got more experience. I feel I'm the bigger fighter in this fight, and we're gonna see May 5th. So it's all the talk is until you get in that ring. You know what I mean? You talk all you want. Once you get in that ring, you have to show me. So I feel like it's good for the hype of the fight, build it up a little bit. I feel like, but once we're in the ring, all that talking.
It goes with the territory. They both want to win, so they're both, talking. It's for bragging rights too. One kid's from Lawrence, Khiry obviously he's from Lynn. So there's a lot of pride involved. No one wants to give an inch. No one wants to lose. So there's a lot of pressure. He's one of the few guys that has not many. Some guys can punch. Some guys get speed. He's the complete package. He has speed, power, and he's just got the mechanics. He puts it all together. He's one of those guys when you watch him fight, you say, this kid can go far.
I want to see you guys there May 5th, and Adrian Sosa, I want you to do everything you said you're gonna do.
On this week's Community Connector, we highlight the grand opening block party for the Ironbound food truck Emporium.
Well, when I bought the place in 2001, I always saw that this is a perfect street that you could just close and you can have a party here. And the past couple of years, I've seen the block parties here, and it shouldn't just be once a year. It should be at least once a month. They should have block parties down here. We'd love to be twice a year. Next year, we're having block parties all the way to New Year's Eve. We're gonna have a block party. But since I bought it in 2001, I saw this. Look, this is the only street you can close and not offend the city. The only street you can close and not interfere with traffic.
So my business is Wiggle Walks. It's a dog walking, pet sitting company. And I think today's great because it's a great way to promote your business, especially me. I'm just starting out. So it's definitely a great opportunity for me. It's just nice to have people want to get to know my company more, want to work with me. Getting new clients, meeting their dogs and seeing all the artwork today. It's a pretty dope atmosphere.
Why we're here today is because first of all, we love our city here. Lynn has a lot to offer, and we've really been waiting for some economic development like this to come into downtown. Last year with the Beyond the Walls Mural Fest was a huge success for the city in this block. And if you look around, I'm sure you'll see a lot of different people, a lot of different faces. We're all out here today enjoying the food. It's really good to see this whole area, which you would never come down here without this kind of this cool stuff happening. And that's one of the reasons why we're here. And it's just like we live in Lynn, we live up by Kylie Park, and we could just walk down here and enjoy this beautiful day and hopefully many more days like this to come.
Well, yesterday we did the ribbon cutting with the mayor, and the senator was down here also. And it was great that we inaugurated, but this is the first time that we really not only got crazy about this, but not every third week of the month, every third Saturday of the month, we're doing a block party. So come help support it. We shut down the street, we put music, we put bands, we put beer, we put everything down here. We can prove that this is the Cinderella story down here. The Ironbound has parking, 400 car parking lot here. It has the commuter rail, it has the bus stop, it has the North Shore Community College. This is a great spot, love it. This is the perfect place for people to come and hang, get off the train and come and have a bite, some music, and hopefully a beer or two while you're down here.
The Khmer New Year Festival took place this weekend at the Lynn Commons, and LCTV was there to capture everything for LCTV's Community Connector.
Today is a very exciting day for all us, for our community, and we expect a lot of people again today. Usually we attract 5,000 to 6,000 people.
So the festival's been running for this is our 8th year. When we first started, it was probably half the volunteers, half the staff. So our 8th year now, we have grown. As you can see, we're getting thousands of people. So I would say it's getting bigger and bigger.
Hi, I'm Congressman Seth Moulton, and I'm proud to be here in Lynn to celebrate Cambodian New Year. This is an extraordinary festival, attracting 5,000 or 6,000 visitors every single year, and we couldn't have a better day for it.
We have a lot of performances and traditional dances and games and a lot of food. That's important. So don't forget to try out, okay?
It's so encouraging to see the Cambodian community out here, which is such a vibrant part of the community of Lynn. Lynn actually has the second largest Cambodian community in the country. So it's an extraordinary part of our larger community.
So seeing everyone here kind of like shows how much of the Cambodian community is still alive and everything. Like everyone here is so supportive of our culture, and everyone just loves like embracing it and everything. And performing kind of shows how much love we have for our culture and everything. So.
So overall, what the festival is to bring everybody together, to also a voice for that the Cambodians are here and that we love everybody else. We love our neighbors, we love our residents, and we just want people to understand that the culture is deep and that, you know, we have never had a voice. So this is a perfect opportunity to see the food that we eat, the music that that you hear, the performance that you see. It's all traditional stuff back in the motherland. So this is our goal, is to share with the world that, you know, this is what Cambodians do back in the motherland.
Mayor Thomas McGee sat down with LCTV to update Lynn residents on every event and projects happening in the community. Here's Mayor McGee with his city update.
Hi, this is Mayor Tom McGee, and I'd like to take a couple of minutes to update you on some exciting things happening in the city. Again, it's great to see the spring here, and after a long snowy winter, nice to see the warm weather here in the city of Lynn. We've got a number of projects that are getting close to completion. The Washington Street project with 72 new housing units at Lower Washington Street is slated to open over the next month. Also, we've got a project at the Beacon Chevrolet site, the North Harbor site at the end of Market Street. 340 units. We're looking to break ground over the next several months. That's an exciting project for the future of the city of Lynn. And we're also looking to, in the underpasses in downtown Market Street and on Commercial Street, lighting those underpasses as part of the Beyond Walls continuing project for the city of Lynn. We are in the middle of the process right now to hire a new superintendent of schools. I want to thank the search committee for all the work they've done, and we will be working with the school committee over the next couple of weeks with the finalists, the final candidates, which will be a public process, to do those interviews, and by May 31st, we'll have had an opportunity to choose a successor to Kathy Latham, who's been many great years of service to the city of Lynn. I'd also like to talk a little bit about what's happening in the Lynn Auditorium in conjunction with the Arts Festival that will be happening again on August 6th this summer. The Beyond Walls Murals Festival will be starting on August 6th, running for 2 weeks. In Lynn City Hall, not only are we doing concerts, we're starting to take a look at showing current movies, and we're jumping into that for the first time on May 25th. One of the great movies of this year was The Darkest Hour. Got 6 Academy Awards, the story of Winston Churchill in World War II and the fight for Britain. That'll be at 8 o'clock on May 25th. There'll be refreshments served in City Hall, and we hope that this is an opportunity to not only have concerts here, but to take this great facility and start to show movies. It'll be $3 to come and see that movie, which we feel is a great deal for a great venue. So again, those are a few things that are happening, and look forward to, hopefully you all have a really good spring and moving the city forward together. Again, thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll get a chance to bring some other updates to you over the next several months on the good things happening in the city of Lynn. Thank you very much.
On this week's Lynn Lowdown, host Calvin Anderson sat down with Lynn School Committee member Jared Nicholson.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Cal Anderson, a LCTV volunteer host. And my guest today is Jared Nicholson. He's a school committee member, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Now, what are your roots? Background, family, etc.? People want to know what makes you tick when you go home from school committee work.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm originally from outside of Boston. I grew up around here. I moved to Lynn after law school, and I actually had old family ties to Lynn. My great-great-grandfather was a leader here in the city, and my great-grandfather went to classical. And I came to Lynn after law school, started a legal aid practice here, working with low-income entrepreneurs and small businesses, and have gotten involved in the city and gotten on the school committee. And my day job, I'm an attorney. I work with startups in Boston.
Ah, okay. Now talk to me about your family. I understand you got married recently.
I did get married last June. So my lovely wife and I live in East Lynn, and she's a midwife. She works at Mass General Hospital and delivers babies. Yeah, she's terrific.
I have a sister-in-law who's a doula. What is your wife's name, by the way?
Her name is Catherine.
All right. So, you know, a couple of years ago you were the Wunderkind, the newly elected Frosch, but now, because of spring retirements, you actually gained some seniority, because there was 2 new committee persons just elected last year. So how is your working relationship with your colleagues, and what about the new talent?
I think it's great. I think we have a great team. I mean, we were definitely sad to lose Patty Capano and Maria Carrasco, who stepped down after the last term. They were both terrific. And I'm excited to be working with Michael Satterwhite and Brian Castellanos. I think we have a really good team in place. And the other thing is we have a new mayor who is the chair of the school committee. And so there's a lot of new faces around the table at the school committee meetings.
All right. Now, of course, one of the things that happened recently was the defeat by the voters of the 2 new schools. And it doesn't mean that endeavor is dead, because there's got to be schools in the pipeline because of the increased population in our city. What do you see next for that? It's back to the drawing board, but how are they going to do things differently this time?
So we're restarting the process. The school department, we authorized, the school committee and the city council authorized the school department to submit another statement of interest to the Massachusetts School Building Authority, which is the state agency that oversees the construction of new schools. And I think we do have to learn from what happened last time. I think we could probably do a better job at publicizing the work that's happening in the committees that are working on these issues, and so we can draw people in earlier into the process and get their feedback earlier in the process. Because I think, like you said, this is a really important need that the city has for the city's future, to be able to provide a satisfactory education to the kids. And if we're going to do it again, we need to be able to understand what went wrong last time and how to do things differently. And I think that's definitely top of mind as we start the process.
Just briefly, is the model still proposing 2 schools, but maybe different locations, or speak to that?
It's really open. I think when we started last time, the idea was we needed to replace Pickering. And before that, we replaced Marshall. And really, that it was the process goes back a few years in identifying the need at the middle school level with both Pickering and Marshall. And the city was able to do Marshall first. And the idea was always that we would go back then to Pickering. And when the Pickering process began, it became apparent that we needed more space because the increase in student population is more towards Westland, where the school is going to be built by the current Lynn Tech, and Pickering is in dire need of repairs and better space, but that's not where the growth in student population is happening. And so it's kind of 2 different issues a little bit, that Pickering is in bad shape and we need more classroom space because of growth in other parts of the city.
All right, speaking of classroom space, it's been a couple of seasons now, but the new Marshall, Thurgood Marshall Middle School, is an exemplary model statewide, I understand. Now, the old one has its moments. It's got some architectural wonder to its facade, and I understand that there was a recent attempt to sell it for a different use. Now, what happened there, and why did it fall through?
So this has been, this goes back to the original process to replace the Marshall. The city determined that it wasn't going to be adequate to use for school, and made the decision to replace it. And in part of that process, when the state funds the construction of a new school, they include money for whatever's going to happen to the old building. And so the state included money to tear down the old Marshall. At one point last year, when it came time to make that decision about what to do with Marshall, there was some thinking that there might be a way to salvage some of that space and actually help the city financially by working with the private sector to come up with a use of the property that would benefit the city. That required a lot of discussions between the school department and the city, because obviously we were just talking about the school department is really in dire need of space. And so when the school department has property, we want to be really careful about where that property goes and if there's a potential use for it for the to educate kids. And where that landed last year was there seemed to be some private developers who really thought this was worth more to the city as in private use than it would be as a school department. And so that was put out to bid. The bids didn't come back at a level that people expected, and so it's kind of back to the drawing board.
So that's another project that's going to be revisited again.
Exactly.
No, we just have the recent retirement coming up, or the soon retirement of Superintendent Catherine Latham.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Dr. Latham's been at the helm for a while. A few years ago, there was a renewing of her contract, and there wasn't at that time a global search put out, and the excuse was, well, because of the residency requirements, limiting, et cetera. Now, there seems to be a concerted effort to go beyond that, because there's starting to be some creativity in giving leverage to those residency requirements. Now, do you think it's time for a complete cover-to-cover review of the city charter? It hasn't been revised in decades.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this certainly came up in context of our search for a new superintendent, and I think we have a good solution and are going through a really strong global search. It's going to be helpful for the city to have that conversation about what we're looking for in a superintendent, and also lead to a great result. I think it would absolutely make sense to take a look at the charter. I mean, I would want to get more feedback from my colleagues on the city side as to what sort of roadblocks they're running into on the council as part of the charter. But you know, those documents really should be living documents where they reflect the reality of what's happening in the city today.
A couple of the things just came up during the recent, I have to say, budget crisis, which was pretty much involved some of the charter wordage about how do you set out more than a $4 million bond. So some of that wordage is in there. There's some sexist references in there. Some things just need updating, and there's some more talk about that. I just wanted to hear how you weighed in on that. Where are we on blizzard packs? Now, we just had in this last part of the winter, we had 4 major blizzards in 3.5 weeks. And I understand it's very expensive for the school system to make up those, let alone having everybody go to school well into June. So what's going on? It's a policy that's okay to do in the Commonwealth, and some cities are doing it. Are we any closer in Lynn?
Yeah, it's something that I think we're taking a look at. I know it's something that Michael Satterwhite is also taking a look at.
Now, what is a blizzard pack?
So the blizzard pack...
Tell the viewers at home.
Yeah, the blizzard pack is this idea that you can prepare students to do classwork when there's a snow day by having materials that they can keep at home that they could work on in the event that school is canceled.
This made sense to me because it's not unlike telecommuting from home. Non-essential employees can stay home, but it doesn't mean they're goofing off, they're doing stuff. So here's the thing that I understand would be mandated. They could actually have a week to turn in these blizzard pack assignments, but that way everybody gets credit for the magic 180 days. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Quickly, just wrapping up, tell us about the school committee meetings and all about transparency. How do people go to them and how do they see them after they've been how do they access school committee meetings?
Absolutely. So we meet every second and last Thursday, and the meetings are open to the public, and it's highly encouraged that people attend. There is a 15-minute period before every meeting for public comment, so anyone can come, sign up, and speak at 6:45 on the Thursday of a school committee meeting. And they're also filmed and aired on Lynn Community Television, so you can check them out live and also online. They're on the school committee website, and I'm sure Lynn Community Television's website as well.
Almost a good old-fashioned New England town hall model, where
Exactly.
the citizens get their input. Thanks, Jared Nicholson, and come back again and tell us a little bit more about some of the things that are going on in the school systems in Lynn.
Would love to. Thank you.
Thank you for watching LCTV News. I'm your host, Medina Sehi. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go to our website, www.lyntv.org, to find out all the great things we are doing here at LCTV. Have a great day.